Okay, so it seems like there's been a little bit of a situation involving even more censorship, this time over at YouTube, which has kind of surprised me because although censorship is a big issue with the whole kind of ID checking and everything like that, which has been taking place over on YouTube, they haven't been too bad in terms of VTubers, like similarly, well not similarly, alternatively to Twitch, who obviously have been banning a lot of people. Obviously we talked about the Lucy Pie situation, the Milky Way situation where they got banned for a day because Twitch didn't like their VTuber model. But it seems like this time YouTube have been banning people, or sorry, taking down videos, taking down content due to a VTuber's design. And this is coming from Sylla Aria. I'm sorry if I said their name wrong, it could be Sylla. But I'm going to just say Sylla for now. And obviously, yeah, they are a voice actor, but also a, they're a VTuber as well. And obviously, yeah, they've been voice acting for, games like Honkai Star. So they are pretty big in the space. And essentially, yeah, they came out with a post earlier essentially saying, my male model debut got removed for breaking YouTube guidelines. Apparently, it was harmful and dangerous. How? I'm actually so upset by this. I appealed, but geez, I'm literally working on my 3.0 right now, and it pulled the wind out of my sails. Now, obviously, this is very interesting because usually whenever a video will get taken down, you would expect the reason for this to be, for like suggestive content, something like that. You'd expect that to be the main reason, but obviously it says harmful and dangerous, which obviously they then follow up with in the replies saying, part of me suspects it was a hater because I recently had some spam how much they hated my mouse pad and how harmful it was for the LGBT community. But it's not, by the way, I can be lewd if I want. So I don't know. But it hurts and it sucks. Now, obviously, I don't know what they're on about with the mouse pad, but obviously it seems like they've been catching a bit of flack from the LGBTQ community. Again, that's pretty crazy. But obviously, it seems like, they've been kind of targeted in terms of reports, and YouTube have then taken down the video. Now, I don't know how many people they've gotten to report this, but it's usually got to be a crazy amount. YouTube isn't one of these kind of platforms where, one person reports it and then the video gets taken down and they can't get it back up. You're going to need a lot of people to kind of mass report a video for it to even get taken down in the first place, which is obviously very confusing. Now, if we were to go down the route of maybe they removed it due to a reason of the actual VTuber design itself, I don't think that's the case. This is the male VTuber, at least this is what I can find on their Twitter. Now, obviously, I'm only going to show the face just in case this was the reason, but trust me, the lower half is fine. It's completely normal. He's literally just got like a shirt on with like a little bit of, obviously chest showing there, but like the rest of it is just shirt. So again, there is nothing like, this is like one of the most tame VTuber models I've seen. there's nothing really suggestive in there. So obviously it kind of confuses me whenever this has been taken down. And obviously I think it could be obviously the reason of a hater spamming stuff like that. But obviously, yeah, it's pretty bad. Obviously, AmaLee as well saying, that's so odd. Hopefully it was just an automatic flag and a human will review it. Then yeah, I'm pretty annoyed. I'm really hoping a human will look at it because, again, it was doing so well, I'm sure, like Jan. So again, it's really weird, people saying how, this is so dumb because it's not all, I'm baffled, like how has it even got flagged? Said, I don't know, but I'm annoyed. And obviously, yeah, I would be genuinely annoyed with this as well. I think that obviously a lot of, work has gone into the VTuber model. Now, obviously, they mentioned the fact that they've been working on their 3.0. I don't know if they're working on it. I don't know if they're the artist behind it or if there's another artist. But, there's been a artist, whether it's her or an artist, working on this model, which has then just kind of been ruined by either one person who obviously hates them over something over a mouse pad, which is pretty crazy, or, obviously it's been taken down for some weird YouTube reasons. But either way, it is a big problem with YouTube's kind of, system at the moment. It's not good enough. And we've talked about, the systems with the ID checking and things and how that's terrible. And obviously, I could go on and on about that. But, there are many other systems in YouTube which still affect many VTubers and creators to this day, including systems like the mass report system, where essentially a lot of people, you get a big enough community, like, for example, this one group of LGBT people, maybe potentially spam reporting this post, and then they will take it down because, again, it's got a lot of reports. But obviously, then you also have like the other factor of like copyright and things like that. Copyright still hasn't been an issue that has been fixed in the kind of, YouTube space. Not just copyright, just takedowns in general, because, again, you have that whole kind of, thing of people just constantly going one-on-one with each other, and essentially you have to give away your address and you have to give away all of this personal information to this person if you even want a chance at fighting this, which I think obviously is so weird. And I think I don't know why they even do that in the first place. It obviously should all be confidential, unless obviously, you know, it goes to court or whatever. Then obviously then you can provide things. But, you know, people have found workarounds with that due to like talent agencies giving their addresses instead, and talent agencies finding a way around it. But it just shows, you know, how I guess biased against VTubers, you know, a lot of these platforms are. Now, I don't think this is particularly because they're a VTuber, but I definitely think if this was a human person, it wouldn't have been taken down as easily. I think, you know, a lot of the automated systems have some kind of bias against VTubers, especially due to like some of the designs and things. And now they might not break terms of service, but the obviously automated system will sometimes flag it as that, which is obviously pretty ridiculous. And it needs to change. You know, obviously there's a lot of Twitch as well that is also similar to that, where they have been targeting VTubers specifically with the takedowns and telling them they're not getting in the right categories when they are in the right categories. It's getting pretty insane. As I said, you know, we covered it with Lucy Pyre, we've covered it with Milky Ways, and now obviously it's happening to even more people across different platforms. And with a lot of the censorship that is going on, it's only going to get worse. You know, we're going to see more VTubers falling into the same problem and falling into the same, I guess, like takedowns and things due to either censorship or mass hate, and they will be picked on more so than usual because of these automated systems, which I think is obviously terrible. You know, a lot of people go and say, damn YouTube of how unfairly strict they are. At least they said that it was a violation, that made it a violation as evidence, but still the way that YouTube is with these policies of theirs, which is mostly their community guidelines and how strict they are with them, is starting to get unfair. He said YouTube was afraid of Sylla being too buff. Sorry to hear that. It's a too sexy against the buff one. Why? That's so odd. And yeah, I think it's very weird, because if it is a censorship thing, this model is completely tame. You know, there is nothing wrong with it. Like, that is complete misplay from the automated system. And if it was due to the automated system bringing it down due to this, I think that's pretty ridiculous, and they really need to have a look into how channels and how videos are being brought down due to that, because again, it's ridiculous how that could even happen in the first place. But if it was a mass report, I can understand it more likely, but I do think whenever you have mass report situations like this, YouTube should have a team of human people just working on reports and reports only and checking out these reports. Again, I don't know how exactly they do it, but again, they need to have a bigger team behind this, because, you know, having an automated bot just take it down as soon as like more than like, I don't know, 20 people report it, you know, it's pretty insane. You know, you need an actual human to go there, look at it, look at the problem, and you know, assess, is this person being mass reported, or you know, is this just a case of, you know, they actually genuinely do need to be reported and taken down, rather than letting a bot go ahead and doing it just because there's so many people doing it all at once, you know. And you've fallen into the kind of, you know, problem. You know, obviously I know you can appeal them and things like that, then you fall into the problem where, you know, as Sylla says here, their video was doing so good. You know, the video, the debut video was doing good analytically, and that could also kill it analytically, you know, and that's a really big problem too. The fact that, you know, she might have lost out on a ton of viewership, a ton of new subscribers and things like that, due to the fact that, you know, YouTube can't handle their own report system, and they have been, you know, obviously very negligent in terms of, you know, keeping a lot of their you know, creators safe, while also keeping a lot of their community safe at the same time, which I think is just insane, you know. And obviously I saw this and I just kind of wanted to make a video on it, because I thought it was pretty mental, especially with a lot of the stuff that's been going on over in the kind of, you know, VTuber community and YouTube just in general, because it seems like a lot of platforms are now targeting them. Like in this case, I think it is just a YouTube is negligent system. I don't think this is a specific targeting, but I do think it will become a more targeted thing in the future, especially with what we're seeing over at Twitch and other places like that. So again, if you want to stay up to date with all of that stuff, I definitely recommend leaving a like on this video and subscribing, because again, this is something that happens almost every single week. You know, VTubers thing gets taken down, it gets like removed, YouTube gets rid of it, Twitch gets rid of it, whatever, whoever, you know, it always happens, and it's always happening to VTubers but no one else, which I always find very weird. But hey, you know, we'll have to see if there is a response from YouTube. Probably won't be. It will either be reinstated or it won't. But yeah, it's pretty terrible. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go over to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.